in ratio form. When you look at a rational expression that's a polynomial, you're looking at stuff like a minus 3 over a plus 4. Those are both polynomials. You have one over the top of the other. When you're looking at one of these over here, you're looking at x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's a polynomial. When you see a polynomial over a polynomial, that means you've got a rational expression. Rational is like a fraction. Remember we talked about earlier in the year that rationals were anything that was a over b. Anything that you could put a over b, or anything over something over the top of something else.
I'm totally missing the
What? Yeah, whatever. Alright, so two polynomials, one over the top of the other. A rational expression is undefined if the denominator is 0. So whenever you plug in a number that makes the denominator 0, that becomes an undefined problem.
no solution?
It's like no solution. Remember when we did like vertical lines? The vertical line has a slope of undefined slope. When you have something over 0, that becomes undefined. Alright, so here's what we're going to do then. We're going to look for numbers that will make these expressions undefined. Okay, Rachel, ready? What do you think? Look at this right here. What would make 3x a 0? 0, right? If I said x is equal to 0, and I plug that into this x right here, x times, well now x is 0, so 0 times 3 is 0, and then what's 0 times anything? 0. So then that's going to make the whole bottom 0. Alright, there's one other number that you can plug in here that'll make the bottom 0. What is it? 0. So we already picked 0. What's another one? What can I plug right there and then subtract 4 and it would make 0? 4. If I said x is equal to 4, then now all of a sudden you have 4 minus 4, which is 0, and 0 times anything. So if you have a 0 times anything over here, it's going to still be 0, right? Okay, let's look right back up here. What two numbers would make the bottom 0? 0. Not 0. 2. Yeah, if I plugged in a -1 right there, -1 plus 1, that would be 0. 0 times anything, 0. If I plugged in a 2 right there, 2 minus 2. So, in other words, x is not supposed to be equal to -1, and x is not supposed to be equal to 2. Because if you have it equal to either one of those things, it'll be undefined. Yeah, so you're going to look for these answers, like what numbers will make it undefined? And you'd say -1 and 2.
Oh, so you don't like solve it or anything?
No, not yet. Okay?
Of course,
Yes.
it's not hard.
So it doesn't really get any harder. All right, so look at this expression here. See what if you can tell me what would make this and this 0.
2 and 1.
All right. So if I say x is equal to 2, is that one of the numbers that make it undefined? Yeah, you got that, Jack? Okay. So what about this one over here? What makes x squared minus 1 undefined? 1. If I plug in a 1, 1 squared is 1, and 1 minus 1, 0, right? There's another number you can plug in there.
0.
Not 0. What do you think it is?
1.
Somebody said -1. If you plug -1 in, what will happen to -1 when you square it? It turns to +1, and so so there you go. -1 squared minus 1 is 0.
Wait, so when you put that line in the equal sign?
Yeah, these are actually.
So would you have to
When
find
you're just
both
trying
of
to
those
find them,
answers?
you're just telling me, yeah, x is. These are the three numbers, but yeah, x is not supposed to be equal to 2. X is not supposed to be equal to
You have to find all the numbers to get equal to
Yeah, you have to. And so what you do, here's the trick. Since you know about factoring, this right here actually factors down because it's difference of squares. X plus 1, x minus 1, and then you just set all the factors equal to 0. Set them all equal to 0 and solve all of them. You just solve them, and that's how you get your numbers. Like this one, we can just kind of look at it and tell, but some of them you have to be able to factor them down. Okay, what about when you see it like this? What's going to make this 0?
You do 4
Yeah, you're gonna have to factor them down.
Wait, what?
So x and x, 4 and 3,
Why? Oh, yeah.
because 4 times 3 is 12. And then if you look at your outer number and your inner numbers, 4 plus 3 gives you 7. And then since these are both positive, all right, now that it's in factored form, it's really easy. If you're paying attention, it's really easy to see what is the numbers that'll make 0. So x should not be equal to what number? -4, and x should not be equal to -3. Okay? Now, if it's just asking you what numbers make it 0, you would just say -4 and -3. Those are the two numbers that make it 0. Okay? So far, so good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, now, when we're solving these then, we got to be careful that we don't get a solution that gives us a 0 on the bottom. Like, for example, this one right here, you wouldn't want 0 or 4. 0, 4 gives you undefined. So we don't want to have an answer that has x equal to 0 or x equal to 4. Now, simplify this. When we're simplifying, we look for groups of things or individual numbers that can cross off top to bottom. Right, Ben? Guys, hang with me here. All right. If you notice x minus 4, you can cross that off. Then, with whatever's left, you look and see if any of that will simplify. And I think you guys can probably do this, right? The x's are going to cross off. What else is going to cross off?
Oh, 3.
Yeah, 3 goes into 6.
2 times.
2 times. So this would simplify all the way down to 2. All right? Okay. What about this one over here? What would it simplify down to? Can you do that for me, Adam?
The 2 and the 4. 2 and 2. I'm going to just be 0.
No.
Or x squared.
No.
2x.
2 goes into 2 how many times?
2. Huh?
Twice.
And
And
x
then
goes
what
into
happens
one.
with x? Do you remember what we did with powers?
Cancel 1 off.
Yeah, it cancels one of those off, so you're just left with x.
2x.
So then it becomes 2x.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, but if you cancel 2x, like how?
In other words, this cancel to make that a 2. This went into that.
Oh, yeah.
One of those cancels out one of those. All right.
Alright, yeah, I got
Okay.
it.
All right, here, let's look at a little bit more complicated. Now, even though you get a whole bunch of numbers going on, if everything is multiplication, you still just look for common things, like look for a t that might cross off with a t, or look for a 10 and a 15, or like a 4 and a 4 that will just cross off. Stuff like that.
Even though it's from the
Yeah, because that still means multiplication. Everything is being multiplied together. So you really, as long as you had a multiply symbol or something, yeah, you wouldn't even really need a parenthesis on that. So would you? Okay, so what else is going to cross off? If you have an S4, now you got to search along. Once you see something on the top, you search along the bottom and see if anything matches. Like, yeah, so there's an S4 and S2 that canceled out 2 of those, so you got 2 of them left.
3a.
A, yeah, so you got 3 A's cancel off.
And the B2, B3.
Okay, so yeah, B3 cancels off, so you have one of those left. And when you get hey, you guys, when you get a whole bunch of stuff like this, you get a whole list of things, it's kind of better to cross it off. It's better to just kind of make a list along the bottom and along the top of what's left. Everything, that way you can just look along your list and see what's going to be left here. Like when you cross off this 10 and that, because you're going to say 5 goes into there twice, 5 goes into there 3 times. Just write it up above and down below. Okay, what else? We got everything crossed off. What about T's? 1 T's left if you take 2 of them off. So this all crossed off, and all you had left was
2, 5, 2.
Yeah, it looks like I had a 3 S squared T on the top and a 2B on the bottom. To be or not to be? That's the question. Okay. What would cross off on here?
Y plus 6.
Yeah, y plus 6 is crossed off. Now,
What if one of them
it's
is
not
3y and the 8y.
yeah,
Wouldn't there be?
now, hey, you guys, remember that we said that if you have a plus or minus stuff, that has to stay together. That's like a group of. It's like this is like one number. We just don't know what the number is. Those stay grouped together. Unless you can factor them down, if you can factor them down, then you're okay.
You probably. Maybe.
But since this doesn't factor down, And even if it did, nothing would factor out, cross off of the 3 and the y. So your answer here would just be 3y over y squared minus 8y plus 12. Okay?